Create glowing 3D text and beautiful effects using only non-destructive Photoshop techniques. This tutorial will show you how to create 3D text using Photoshop's Repoussé tool, give it a futuristic blue glow, and finish it off with a modern bokeh and grid background. To follow this tutorial, you'll need Photoshop CS5 Extended. Before we begin this tutorial, make sure you have the required fonts installed. These fonts are available free, and the links to them can be found in the video description. You'll also need the extended version of Photoshop CS5, not the regular version. After you've installed the fonts, start by creating a new document in Photoshop. Go to File, New. Set the width to 1920, height to 1080, and then click OK. Make the background black. You can do this quickly by pressing Ctrl-I or Command-I on a Mac to invert the color. Select the Text tool, then type in any text you like using the TR2N font. It's best to use something around 4 characters. I'll be writing TR2N with a font size of 480 point. Make sure you have the TR2N text layer selected, then go to 3D, Repoussé, Text Layer. You'll get a pop-up that asks if you want to rasterize the text. Just click Yes. If you don't see the 3D menu, you might not be using Photoshop CS5 Extended. There are 2 versions of Photoshop, and the 3D tools are only available in Photoshop CS5 Extended, not the regular one. The Repoussé tool will appear with many settings you can adjust. Start by reducing the depth value so that the thickness of your 3D text looks similar to this. You can press the up and down arrows on your keyboard to do this. In the Materials area, click on the drop-down menu, then choose the sphere with no texture. This will remove all the textures from your text. Go to the bevel settings. Set the sides to front, height to 5, width to 0.5, and contour to this deep cove contour. Click OK to apply the changes. We're done creating the 3D text. Now that we're done, we can allow Photoshop to improve the quality of the 3D text. If you look at the edge of your 3D text, you'll see that it's pretty low quality. Photoshop does this to improve the performance while you're editing. Once you're done editing, you can change the quality and have Photoshop render a higher quality image. To do this, go to Window, 3D to bring up the 3D panel. In the Quality drop-down menu, select Ray Traced Final. Photoshop will now render the 3D text, and you'll see a blue grid moving across your image. This takes some time to process depending on your computer speed. If you press anything, Photoshop will pause the render. To resume, just right-click on the layer and choose Resume Progressive Render. Let this run until the text quality looks good enough to you. When the text quality looks good enough, simply click anywhere to stop the render. Now we're going to apply some layer styles to give it a glow. Right-click on the TR2N layer, then choose Blending Options. Select the Color Overlay option, then set the blending mode to Overlay and color to 00B4FF. Select the Outer Glow layer style, then set the color to the same color we used earlier, 00B4FF. Set the size to around 30 pixels. Note that the effects of the setting will vary if you used a different font size. Click OK to apply the changes. We're done with the 3D text. Here's how our image looks like so far. We're now going to create the subtitle. Select the Text tool and type some text below the TR2N text. I use the font Railway. If you have the new Helvetica 35 thin font, you can use that instead. It's the same font that was in the movie Tron, but it's not free. If you want to increase the spacing between the letters, go to Window,